Okay, so believe it or not, I am in Austria. Now you can see a pyramid behind me, not a very big one, not like those found in places like Egypt, obviously, and Mexico and Indonesia and all those pyramids found all over the world. This is, I think it's 7 meters tall. It's about 16 meters wide at the base here. You can see there are 4 steps to it, and that it's made out of small stones. It looks like these dry stone walls we have in many places in Europe and around the world, actually. So it's not megalithic, actually, because these are such small stones. There are some slightly bigger ones the other side, but this is a pyramid type or style that is found in Tenerife for sure. I think they are square pyramids there that are made out of cobbled stones and you know, not very big. I think in Corsica or Sardinia, somewhere around there, there's these step pyramids, but they're not known of on the mainland in Europe at all. This one's circular. Those in Tenerife and Corsica and Sardinia, I think they are square. Now, they found this, I think it was in 2000. They basically found a big pile of stones, and they've reconstructed this part that you can see here. On the other side, it's pretty much how I imagine they would have found it. It doesn't really look necessarily that it's stepped. So we're not 100% sure that this is what it would have looked like, but I'm sure they put some serious thought into why they made it look like this when they reconstructed it. It's really mysterious, this site. Nobody knows how old it is. There's some people that say it's more modern, like the 1900s. Some say it was built in the medieval times. Some researchers said 2,000 years old, and others say it's an ancient relic. So there's people who seem to be guessing, basically. They just don't know how old this is. So it's really mysterious. It's quite strange that in this part of Europe there are not many megalithic sites. It fascinates me actually why, when you get to sort of Austria, Czech Republic and that sort of part of Europe, do they stop appearing? Why are they not found anymore? But I wonder if there are actually some. It's really strange. When you're walking to this pyramid, there are no stones in the forest. It's all shrubs, bushes, old sticks and leaves. And then all of a sudden you've got these piles of stones. But on the walk here, there was a site that I looked at that was about 100 meters off the path. And it really looked like some kind of ruins. I've been to other sites around the world. In Germany last year, I was in this in the woods similar to this, and some of the so-called structures that were considered to be dolmen or cairns or former long barrows were fewer rocks than this and not so convincing. There's one stone over there, or one little sort of formation actually, that really looks like a dolmen, like it's collapsed and not been reconstructed like a lot of those ones I visit. Also on these piles of stones, so-called, in the woods over there, the rock is really crystalline as well. It's something I've noticed again at a lot of these sites, is how there's just like a lot of crystals embedded in the rock. And this one over there, they were just like sticking out like some of the sites I saw in Portugal, for example. So it's a really mysterious place. It's set in a park, basically. It's called the Rock Park, and there are 5 energy centres, all stones. This being one of them, and then there are another 4 that I'm hoping to go and have a look at, and they're supposed to be places where people go. They feel peaceful, they meditate, they maybe get a little bit of healing. There's dowsing done in this area. There's a lot of talk about energies and crossing of ley lines and all that kind of thing in this area. Yeah, so I'm going to go and have a look at some of these rocks, because some of the photos make them look a little bit like dolmen. Particularly those found in the USA and Canada, where they're kind of like rocks balanced on top of other rocks, not like the ones in Europe where it looks like it's actually a stone table and it's been made in that way. So there's some sort of like, they're called natural formations, but they look a little bit suspicious to me. So yeah, I'm going to go and have a look. But there's actually also some other places that stretch into the Czech Republic as well. I did see when I was researching what was in this area, that there's some other natural formations in the Czech Republic, and one of them really looks like a dolmen. So yeah, it's really interesting. I'm going to sit around and see if I can feel some of the energies, and then I'm going to go and see some of these other rocks.
These so-called natural formations I mentioned are all over the Czech Republic, which when you look at them seem like potentially artificial creations. It's hard to imagine natural forces have caused such structures to form, and they bear comparison to some of the natural-looking megalithic structures found in Montana. Some of them look like suspicious, organised piles of rocks, while others look much more like the stones have been placed there by living beings. This one is called the Flying Saucer Dolmen, and this one is known as the Wessex Sphinx, for obvious reasons. One curious feature found at a number of these natural formations is a hole in the rock that looks like it has been purposefully carved into it, like little rock bird baths. There are more standing stones in the Czech Republic than I previously thought. They cover most of the country and some are pretty big. For me, the existence of these suspicious natural formations just across the border adds strength to the notion that the other 4 energy centres close to the Austrian pyramid are artificially created.
Alright, so this is the sign for Kirlichstein. That's a photo of it. And then this, I'm assuming, is energies going between 2 of the stones. I don't speak German, so I can't tell you what the sign says, I'm afraid. But this is the structure. It's one of the other 5 energy centres that I talked about at the pyramid. And you can see from here, it looks very much like you've got 2 massive boulders balanced on top of this, either the bedrock or a 3rd boulder. If I come up here, there's some more stones here. And if I come up here, there's a different angle. Those 2 look like they're balanced on that one. Which is either a massive boulder or the bedrock. Now you can see, if we look off in that direction, there really aren't many stones in this forest. As I said, it's all like vegetation, cones, tree stumps. But we have this collection of stones, and there's some piles. There's a pile about 30 meters in that direction, and just past there there are some more. And then here as well, there's some huge boulders, and the last one just over there, which is the one I think that sign says energy was transferring to. Just over in that direction, next to the tree, which has got my bag on it. So over here is a sign showing some kind of energy device. It's a wooden construction, which is over here. Which I had to go on. I had to lie down and had a little meditate, did a mantra. So you lie down here, stick your head in there, and then I'm guessing these 2 things on the end act as funnels. So it's part of, as I said, 5 energy centres where people come and they play with the energies, and there's supposed to be a lot of energy being emitted from here. So you can see these have kind of fallen and they're slanted, and then from this angle it looks like we've got, looks like a dolmen, a massive capstone, and then a middle capstone. So no, not really like a dolmen. And you can see that this one is broken up, it's in pieces. So if this is not a natural formation, then this is going to be really old, because look how much erosion has taken place on this, what looks from the other side like a massive boulder. and then it's broken up on this end. So yeah, we've got these stones. They're all over the place, really. But if we have a look up here, there is one more thing which really suggests that this is not a natural formation at all. Not the natural structure. There's this massive bird bath. There's loads of mozzies as well.
Looking on Google Earth and the superimposed Becker-Hagen's grid, the stone park is pretty close to a major ley line. And although it's 13 to 14 kilometres away, this doesn't exclude the existence of telluric energies in the area. Mainly because the energy line grid system is likely to be far more complicated and extensive than we have currently proposed. And also the accuracy of the Google Earth grid must be questioned, because if you look at the UK and the famous St Michael's ley line, it passes through the land at different places and at a different angle to most other diagrams online, therefore appearing far from accurate. One last point I would like to make about the area is the existence of rows of stone walls running through the forest, which have been described as serpent-like lines in the woods. This is something we have seen in other places around the world, such as Sweden and America's Stonehenge, which has numerous serpent-like walls running through the woods close to it. And not forgetting the amazing Serpent Mound in Ohio.